Hello, gorgeous Pisces, and welcome to November 2020. Oh, I love sitting in watery energy. It's one of my favorite places to be, and it feels really good to be out here with you all. Excuse me. Let me find my voice here. This month, I'm talking to you all a little bit later in the series this month, so I have a bit of an insight into what is going on with everyone else. And so I can bring that information to you and just tell you that November is a very sacred month of transformation. Of course, we're in Scorpio season. And regardless of your chart and everything, Scorpio season is all about death and rebirth. It's all about this sense of shift. And I think this month it's compounded and intensified because the Jupiter and Pluto are conjunct on the 12th. They're having a conversation, which is a very rare conjunction. It's happened 3 times this year because Jupiter's been moving around, doing a retrograde, moving over Pluto many times. That's expanding this transformative energy. And this is all happening for you in your 11th house, your community, your identity in the world, and who's like your friends and where you live and the missions you have in life. That's really powerful. Mars is stationing direct after a very intense and deep retrograde on the 13th. And that's happening in your second house of your value and like how you value yourself, how you love yourself. These are very transformative energies, and many people are going to have to sit with themselves in November and just take a moment, right? When you think about everything that's happened since February and March of this year to November, it's been a huge transformative cycle, and November is very important to use wisely. Take that extra time to really be plugged in to your knowing, to your spiritual. Now with you, Pisces, I am not too worried. I actually have a message for you around this as well. You know, Scorpio season's a very flowing season for you. Another water sign. There's a lot of energy moving through Scorpio this month before we hit Sagittarius season. And the message that came through for Pisces this month was very crisp, very clear, very specific. You have to accept who you are, your sensitivity, your ability to tap into the unseen order, right? In order to make things happen in the physical. This is a month for you to find ways to accept your modality, because we've talked about this before and it comes up and it will keep coming up because it's kind of a part, I think, of the Piscean life path, is that you have to learn to accept that you work in this other way, and that culture has this other way of seeing it, which is you do this, A, B equals C, right? It's very linear. It's very chart-based, X, Y axis. It's very cut and dry, kind of masculine, angular energy. And Pisceans know there is this other, much more circular, fluid way where things aren't just connected in a straight line, and that's that. And it's always part of your path, I think, to accept that you don't fit into the cultural formula when it comes to how you connect with your path, how you connect with just getting things done. And so this month, it's very important for you to accept yourself as you are now, so that you can welcome in this next phase. Because here's the other thing. This month, we're getting prepared. This month is a bridge month. It's like the epic bridge month of the year. We have Mercury going direct, Mars going direct, your ruling planet, Neptune, going direct on the very last day of the month, on the 30th. Excuse me. And this is a month we are preparing for Saturn and Jupiter to move into Aquarius in December. 10 of Wands. Makes so much sense. It's important, I think, for us to close out this chapter with all the Capricorn work we've been doing in a really connected way. And, you know, I think about Saturn and Jupiter moving into Aquarius, your neighboring sign, your 12th house, your spiritual house. Guess what? The coming years are going to be Hierophant. Deep wisdom. The coming years are going to be where you use, to get things built in the world, to get things done in the world, you use your innate Piscean ability to tap into the unseen order to do that. There's going to be an emphasis on that. And that's why I think it's so important this month to find ways to honor your path, honor what you've been through this year, and also honor that you have Chariot. Ooh, loving these cards. A lot of committing energy going on here. Queen of Swords. That's been a strong energy this month as well. But you're gonna be noticing there's an emphasis on this part of yourself that maybe sometimes you don't want to acknowledge. Sometimes you want, you know, Pisces, you guys can be really tough cookies, and you can walk through the world acting like you are the toughest of the tough, that you can handle it all. You know, you got some spice, you got some attitude. You aren't just wishy-washy. You definitely have opinions. You definitely have ideas of what is what. But there's a side of you that is very powerful. And I think sometimes you feel like you need to just put it to the side. Stop thinking about it. Protect yourself. This month is for you to calibrate more toward that part of yourself. Now, let's talk about this. 10 of Wands, whenever that baby comes out, we know there is something that you are carrying. Yeah, you can ultimately handle it on your own. You can carry around that burden. You can walk in that linear line and carry these sticks around and make it really hard on yourself. That's absolutely an option. You know, I'm not going to tell you you can't do that. But the invitation here is this. What if you put down all these sticks that you don't even know why you're carrying them around, right? Some of them are in there and you're like, wait, why am I putting these on my shoulder and then like lugging them from place to place? I forgot. I can't remember why I'm in this situation to begin with. It's so weird. Put them down. Select what you want to carry with you. Also, I think 10 of Wands speaks to, you know, the Wand suit is all about action in the world. The actions we take, the things we're able to create, build, do. The 10 of Wands has kind of this hidden message in that yes, doing is fantastic, but it has a shadow side. It has a side where we're just doing to do. And there's an absurdity to that is just as deep as anything in the world. So you're being asked to put down mentally and maybe practically some things you're carrying around. Because here's the thing. Hierophant and the Chariot are both very deeply committed energies. You know, the Hierophant is about spiritual commitment. Yes, it can be about like sources of authority and spiritual authority and all of that. It also has, and tradition and old traditions, but it also has to do with commitment, committing fully, owning our spiritual wisdom, right? The Hierophant reminds us that we are our own priests within our lives and that we can access the divine, that we don't need an intermediary who is in robes and finery to do that for us. It's also about committing to what it is you're building, what it is you're creating. This is great energy for teaching, for leading, for owning your space in the world in the way that you are tapped into the spiritual. Chariot, visionary, right? This is also committed energy. It can also have to do with relationships or environments that feed your soul, right? This is Cancerian energy. It's love energy. But it's also visionary. It's determined. This is cardinal energy. So this is about setting your sights on your future. The Chariot looks forward, finding balance, finding harmony, calibrating, and focusing forward. And I think that's the trick with this month. There's a moment to pause and look back. We're finishing out on Mercury retrograde. We're finishing out on Mars retrograde. These are definitely transits that have us kind of looking over the big map of our life. but don't stay there for too long. Commit to that part of yourself that is deeply spiritual. That it's not even about being spiritual. Like, you don't have to go join an ashram and go on a fast or do any of that. It's really about choosing, though, to put on the lens that you have within you, flip that lens on, that allows you to see the world in that Piscean way. Trust yourself when it comes to that lens. Let yourself go there. Read things that help you feel nourished in that way, and commit and keep. And then, as you're tapping into that lens, you know where you need to go next. You know what you need to commit to next. You know what positive things are coming. And the thing with these cards is that this is telling me that those pieces, those puzzle pieces that connect, that click, that link, are around you in November. These, especially once you put down all the sticks and you actually take a moment to look up. Because when you look at this guy, right, he is not even paying attention to his surroundings. He can't see anything. He's completely unaware that his whole reality is in carrying these sticks around. And he really thinks that's all there is. He doesn't notice that there's a blue sky. He doesn't notice that there's trees in a village. He doesn't notice that there's all these other pathways. All he knows is this, and there's an absurdity to that, right? Look at these figures. They are looking forward. They are looking straight ahead. And that's the thing with the Queen of Swords too. She clears the air. She slices through the noise, the clutter. And she chooses, right? Her authenticity, her self-love, her focus. She's decided, right? And with that, whenever the Queen of Swords comes up, boundaries. Being really clear how you want to treat yourself, right? And therefore how others speak to you, being in situations that serve or hurt you. Making those adjustments. Breaking free, right? There is a clearing going on here. Get some pieces sorted out during this month. Sort out some pieces, just practical, logistical. Get into your knowing state. Get prepared for really powerful years ahead. Okay, I'm going to pull one more card from the Animal Totem Tarot. I love this deck. This is genuinely one of my favorite decks, and I'm surprised I don't use it that often, but I kind of like to save it as a treat. It's just gorgeous. It's very soothing. So let's see what message wants to come through from our deck here to close out the message. 7 of Swords. Okay. I will pull up our message. The ferret. Little underground cutie hanging out in his den. Very beautiful. We all have a sneaky side. It is a necessary skill for our survival. Whether you have to be the one who is sneaky or be the one able to spot others in their sly ways, the art of deception is not to be taken for granted. Smoke, mirrors, and sleight of hand all have their place. The real trick is knowing when and where to use them. Whoa, that is such an interesting message. I don't know if I've ever read that one actually before. When and how to use them. You know what this makes me think about for you all? Sleight of hand. Illusions, magic, right? 7 of Swords I often think about in the classic deck. It's a lot about imposter syndrome. A lot about feeling like you're getting away with something. A lot about feeling like an authentic skill you have. Something that you really know how to do. You almost feel like you're getting away with something. You almost feel like you're using sleight of hand and you're being a trickster. And you should feel bad about it and be looking around and waiting for somebody to say you're full of crap. And I think that message around using these skills that you have is really important. You may feel like it is tricking the system or cheating or unfair or a load of crap or BS that you have access to this divine wisdom and to this other order of things that isn't about the linear progress, that isn't about climbing to the top of the molehill and saying, I'm win. And it has much more to do with following your soul's calling. You may feel as though that is a form of sleight of hand, but it's not. So while the Seven of Swords is saying, yeah, you know, maybe lean into some of those skills you have. Maybe use more of the Seven of Swords than the Ten of Wands. It's also saying that it's not actually about tricking people. It's not actually about deceiving people. It's about ending the deception around yourself and what you think you're allowed to do, what you think you're allowed to create, what you think you're allowed to believe about yourself. We're getting back to basics in November in so many ways for everybody. So I am really excited to see what this month brings for the Piscean group, Piscean family. I love you all so much. We are going to be doing a lot of extra support, getting prepped for December, getting prepped for all that is to come with that. We're also going to be finishing out Mars retrograde really strong over on my Patreon. I do worksheets, weekly talks, so you just really feel empowered. I'd love to see you over there. So I will leave that link below in the description box. You can also find me on my website and on my Instagram. All the links will be in the description box. And of course, you can find PinkLune's gorgeous jewelry on her Etsy shop. I will see you all in December for these big epic shifts that we were talking about. Take such good care of yourselves during this Scorpio and Sagittarius season, and see ya very soon, my beautiful people.